Yeah, welcome to 3 Conservative Gimps, where you get a weekly dose of conservatism, freedom, and liberty on this channel. We've got a great show today. You know, we didn't pull it out Tuesday. Sadly, Herschel didn't win. But hey, we'll be talking about where do we go from here? What's going to happen in the Senate? And also, I got. Oh yeah, we got Elon Musk. We'll be talking about his second dumping of information from Twitter. That'll be interesting to talk about. So let's get this ball rolling. Let's welcome my effervescent guests all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma, not Illinois, Oklahoma. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome.
Hello, Art. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Nice warm day. We got up to 63 degrees. And we're heading right into a deep freeze this week.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like around here. We had rain yesterday, and it was in the low 50s. It was in the low 50s today, so, but that's probably what's going to be going on here, so, later this week.
Yep.
So
we'll have one more warm day. We'll be about 10 degrees cooler, and then snow tomorrow night and part of Tuesday.
Yeah, they're looking at a major front coming in. The jet stream dropping again, so out of Canada. So, plus they're going to be pumping air up. And here in Oklahoma, we're bad about when you get those two pressures moving. You get moisture brought in out of the Gulf, and then the cold air coming in off the Rockies and out of the north. And we there's a possibility we might have a white Christmas this year. I don't know. We'll see.
Nice.
I hope if we do, it's a very light white Christmas.
Yeah.
We had one Christmas, the kids came over, and we always open our presents on Christmas Eve, and they they came over and opened presents with us. When they got here, about 4 o'clock, it was cloudy and it was spitting a little bit of snow. And by the time they left by 9 o'clock, well, what was normally a 20-minute drive took them 2.5 hours because we had blizzard whiteouts and about 8 inches of snow.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Oh man!
And that was a year we ended up getting 24 inches in 24 hours.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Pretty bad that year. Yeah, Christmas Day was... Nobody got out on Christmas Day. James walked from next door, and that was about it. So I think Pat and Janie got out and came over for a few minutes. But, our daughter and son-in-law at the time, our late son-in-law, they were stuck out the other side of the... they were stuck out of town, and they couldn't get back in. They barely made it home, so they weren't leaving. So
wow.
But yeah, we've had some bad Christmases. I hope this year it's just a nice, couple of inches, cover the ground. That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
No freezing rain
either. Speaking of bad news, we didn't have any good news Tuesday. Herschel Walker couldn't quite pull it out, lost by less than a point. That was a very close election. I think he only lost by a few thousand votes.
Yeah.
And so that shows you how vulnerable Warnock is. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And if they had put had a stronger candidate been put up against him, it would have been, he would have, I don't think there would have been a runoff, Herschel Walker just wasn't the strongest candidate, and this is the problem we have, as much as I'm a supporter and a fan of Donald Trump, his divisiveness in the, in the political world is just too strong for some people, and anybody that he supports, not everybody, but a lot of people he supports just don't have it. And plus, and this is what I heard this week. One of the things that made the Florida election so successful is the Republicans there don't have a problem with early voting. They got out and voted early, and they voted strong. And then those that wanted to vote on election day, that just helped carry that was the icing on the cake. They were able to do what the Democrats have been so successful at it, because the Democrats, they haven't been running. They haven't been, they've pumped a lot of money into advertising, but to get out there one-on-one and in the debates, they haven't been doing it. Fetterman, look at him. He finally, and that was after all the early voting was in. So,
and that was another Trump-backed, candidate.
Another Trump candidate. And as much as Donald Trump, I think, has been successful in helping push the Republican Party into a more mainstream situation, he's also been very divisive. And, it's time for us to have somebody younger. Come on, he's getting along
in his late 70s,
right. And we need to start grooming the next generation and starting to support that next generation, because the 40, 50-year-old guys out there are the ones that are going to be leading the nation in another 20 years at this, and we don't want all these young pipsqueaks that are in their 20s that are, part of the woke agenda that have been indoctrinated. We don't need those yet. We need to get the 40 and 50-year-olds in office, get strong candidates, and we need to quit being afraid of early voting.
That's right. And
that's what happened down in Georgia. The Republicans just didn't get out there and do their, they didn't do the early voting and they didn't do the ballot harvesting.
Yep. And I was watching the results coming in, and I saw a few counties that were red in the runoff, the first election. They flipped blue, and they were light blue, and it's like that was the turning point.
And those were the independents, those, and that's the other thing. That's part of our problem too. Is we have a two-party system with three parties.
Mm-hmm.
And this is we don't have a good. Neither party treats the independent the way they should. I think the independent itself, an independent party, could probably be very successful if it was dealt with properly. You know, the only good thing to come out of this, and it's not necessarily good, but it's at least kind of giving the Democrats a little bit of a wake up call, and that was Sinema flipping to an
Yeah,
independent.
that was what I was going to go right into, and that was the good thing that came out of this. Cinema has left the Democrat Party, so that, and I don't think Bernie Sanders, he's not a Democrat either.
No, there's three independents. There's Bernie Sanders is an independent. Now Sinema, and the other one I think is from Maine, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
And
right.
but the Bernie and the other independent caucus with the Democrats, it looks like
Yes.
Sinema is going to, for the most part, but she's going to, as an independent, she's going to go her own way, and I think that's what her intentions were. She's going to be truly independent.
Mm-hmm.
She is financially a conservative, but socially she's a liberal, and
Right. Mm-hmm.
it depends on which one of those two are stronger in her beliefs on how she's going to vote.
Mm-hmm.
She is going. She stopped the Democrats so far from, because when you look at the actual split in the Senate votes, you've got 49 Republicans, you've got
Mm-hmm.
47 Democrats, and 3 independents.
Mm-hmm.
But the independents tend to caucus. That's where they get the 51 seats. But and Bernie is really ticked off that Sinema says she ain't got no guts, because she flipped, and which is like the pot calling the kettle black.
Right.
When
I mean,
when he
if he was
lost,
so strongly about it, he should become a Democrat, but he won't because he's a socialist.
well, that and the fact that he lost in the Democratic primary, that the year that he became
Mm-hmm.
he lost, and so he ran as an independent and won his seat. And
Right.
but he was a Democrat, but he just couldn't get, he couldn't get past the primary because they had a strong Democrat that was a moderate, not a socialist, that was running against him, and he lost. And as a result, he flipped seats and became an independent and won in
Right.
the general election. But he lost. He got primaried out, and
Oh, okay.
see, that's how that originally happened. I remember when that happened. He got primaried out, and he took his ball and went home and came back and says, "I got a whole new ball, and I'm going to play with it by myself, and you guys can join me." And the people, was he from Vermont?
Yes.
And the people of Vermont are, well,
They're
they're
an
odd
odd
ducks.
bud.
They're an
Yeah.
odd bunch because didn't they? Jesse Ventura was their governor at one
No,
point. No,
he was governor of Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, well,
Yeah. He was
another one of them
part of
Yankee
the
states.
Reform Party,
Yeah, another one of
the
them Yankey
Ross
states.
Perot Party. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just hoping Donald Trump, if he primaries, if he gets primaried out, that he doesn't decide to run as an independent.
Yeah, that's the thing I worry about because I don't think he's either going to get primaried out or, he's going to leave due to health issue.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to run again either way. He's not going to run. I don't think he'll make it to the general election. Let's put it that way, one way or the other, whether he's primaried out or whether he's leaves due to ill health. He may give it a little bit of a push in the primary, like he may show that I'm doing good, and then finally say, my health has just gotten too bad and I can't continue to do this, and and go that way.
Well, like I said, I think it's going to be Jared Polis. And who's going to be his running mate? I think it's going to be Kyrsten Sinema.
You think? And that could be.
Yeah, because he's always running as a libertarian candidate,
Right.
but he really runs. I mean, he's really a Democrat. He's a socialist.
Yeah.
And
What is
believes
his
in
actual
big
party?
government.
Yeah. What is his actual party affiliation?
He's a Democrat.
He's a Democrat. Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say, because first off, if he was a libertarian, the first thing he would not be was big government, because that's the biggest.
Well, he pretends to be.
Yeah, he may talk.
libertarian.
He may try to talk that, but when all of his actions show, I don't. Here's the thing: I'm not hearing Polis's name mentioned anywhere except on here.
Well, did you hear anything about Clinton?
Well, no, that's true, but I just
see?
there's other Democrats. I mean, we could be looking at Michelle Obama.
Yep, that's true.
I would not be a bit surprised to see, and if she runs, she'll get the nomination. Whether she'll get the election, I don't know, but but Michelle Obama could very well be a candidate and a viable one. Unfortunately, Although the latest I heard today on the Mr. B, oh God, no, don't don't discount her, because there's still. But today, of course, I know we're jumping ahead on this, but in one of the dumps from Twitter that came out, Michelle Obama was putting pressure on Twitter to get rid of Trump. She was one of the people that put a lot of pressure on Twitter to do away with, to suspend him permanently.
Right.
So I don't know if that was, because I know there's another dump coming today, but I don't know if that's what I was.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, please.
No! No!
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, the latest dump shows there was definitely a bias towards conservatives and suppressing conservative groups, conservative people, and
well, yeah, and
while
you got
allowing Iran to still be on Twitter.
Well, it wasn't just that; it was the fact that they were having weekly meetings with the FBI, the NSA, and the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. They had weekly meetings. The Twitter hierarchy did, and that's all come out. They even went so far as to say, well, we need to say that we're discontinuing this because of security concerns, that we've had experts that say that this is, blah, blah, blah. And one person says, but can we really call the FBI, the NSA, and DHS experts? And it said, so why don't we just say we've had some, from outside sources, so third-party sources have helped us tag these as possible, I don't know, misinformation. I can't remember what it was. I think it was misinformation.
Isn't there something in the Constitution that, wait a minute, government is not supposed to have any interaction with the press?
Well, this is true. Yes, that is true. It is in the Constitution, but come on.
They're acting like they're an arm of the Democrat Party, who is now in control of the government, which violates the Constitution.
Yeah, and this goes back to the suppressing the Hunter Biden, suppressing all of that. And then you had the guys that were kicked out because of COVID comments. And, of course, the suspension of Donald Trump comes, because of the January 6th riot, which... There's still a big question to me. There was one person, I've seen him on video. He was inciting them to attack the Capitol, and he did it the day before, and he did it on that. He says, let's go over there and take over the Capitol. And he was supposed to have been a Trump supporter, and they've got him on video saying this. But then he never shows up. He was never there, and they've not prosecuted him. Actually, he might have been there, but he's never been prosecuted. He's never been brought up. They've got the evidence, but they've chose to ignore it. And I'm not talking conspiracy theory. This is an actual person. And, of course, as he's saying all this, what do the people that are chanting start saying? They start saying Fed, 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 because they knew he was a Fed, and he was the one instigating this. You know, he was one of those instigating it. Say what you want, January 6th was a bad thing, and any of the idiots that got involved with that, I have, we've even had somebody here from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Hello, Mike B. And
Hey, Mike B. Mr. B.
And
Chris.
Mr. B, yeah, and Chris and
Yep.
Grant.
Yep.
But,
Grant.
but I mean, I know of a guy that I've been acquainted with for, I don't know, 20, probably close to 30. No, I've known him longer than that, but in the last 20 years, I've been somewhat acquainted with him. And he was actually up there, and he was broadcasting live, but he was outside. And, you know, what I saw was the peaceful demonstration of people protesting. And that was on, you know, even when the crowd started running towards the Capitol, most of the people I saw didn't do it. There was there was that, you know, several, 3 or 4 dozen people that stormed it. And, and the other thing is and this is, that's going down another rabbit hole. Let's not go down there right now.
Yeah.
But going back to the Twittergate, there's a lot of stuff coming out of that that shows how they were hiding the Hunter Biden story. They were covering up a lot, and they were doing it at the behest of the Democratic Party and the federal government.
Right.
Yeah. And these are the people, and these agents were the ones that actually worked for the President of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and this
I
just
was
goes to show
watching Gutfeld the other day, where they were talking about all these pundits in the media, and it's like they were cutting and pasting the same talking point on each network. And it was just uncanny, almost verbatim.
I saw that. I watched that. And that's the thing. There is no originality left in those so-called journalists.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, that would have been considered plagiarism 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, that guy just said what I said. I said it first, and there'd be a lawsuit. Right. That doesn't happen now. It's
well, I mean, and then then everybody be talking about, oh yeah, that's original.
Exactly, and they'd be run out. I mean, look, Biden got thrown out for. He lost. He had to resign for running from president back in the '60s the '80s. Can't remember when.
Yeah, the '80s.
'80s, yeah, '80s. Yeah, because he was wanting to run against Ronald Reagan. So,
Right.
And he plagiarized somebody, and he keeps doing it. But that's the reason why they let him do it now, because they all do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
but the good thing about Sinema leaving the Democrat Party is now it's a good chance that Democrats won't be able to kill the filibuster and add a state or two the union, because they want to get D.C. as a state and Puerto Rico as a state.
Puerto Rico's a state.
And
I don't have a problem with Puerto Rico, but the District of Columbia was set aside for a purpose, and that is the reason it was done, so that they didn't have the power that they were to be. They were where our capital was, and that was strictly it was the capital district. And Puerto Rico has been long enough, I think. Either give Puerto Rico their independence and let them go on about their own way, or make them a state. I don't have a problem, because
I mean, they don't want to be a state, but they like the protection and all the goodies that they get from being part of the United States.
Yeah,
Just like Guam and the Marianas, they get the same privileges.
Right.
But they just can't vote. They can have representation, but they have no say there.
Right.
I mean, it's just like Canada is part of Commonwealth with Great Britain,
With Great Britain, yeah.
with Australia, and
But
several
the
other.
difference is all the Commonwealth countries have their own government.
Right.
The only real tie is that that their head of state is the Queen, or the King now. I guess I'm still having trouble getting used to that. Is the King? Hey, all my life has been the Queen,
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you think about it, what's his name is still playing music. I think he's retiring now. He just left Twitter. Elton John. So they still got a Queen of England, but the Queen of England is now not going to be on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So
that brings us to another topic that we could go into. How about this?
Oh my
Queen?
God!
I mean, this person, they, them, whatever. What the hell is that crap? This guy got caught stealing again at an airport.
A second set. Maybe it is going for the complete set.
Yeah. Oh God.
Because the first maybe only got 2 bags out of the set. I'm sure it's like a Versace or whatever those, or Coach. I don't know, one of those name brand fancy
Prada,
ones. Because
I don't.
Yeah, Prada could be one of those
Versace.
really nice sets. Versace, that was the name I was looking for. Versace, and and those things are expensive, and so people usually only buy 1 or 2. So this creature is going around picking up and making the set. And it's thrift store shopping.
Is in the she's in it. Whatever the fuck this is. This
I call them
in the Department of Energy.
Yes,
this person is responsible for nuclear waste.
Yes,
what the flip, man? This is nuts.
And it's just because
we're no nuts.
That is a confused individual,
Yeah, and if you're gonna wear lipstick, don't be garish about it. There's another photo where he's got blue.
Worse yet, he's wearing lipstick and got a mustache.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God! Come on, make a choice. You're one or the other. Like I said in one of my early vlog videos,
hey, if you're confused, shave the mustache.
And that's it. Well, and here's the whole thing, and this could take us down a whole new rabbit hole. But we've got people on YouTube that are being sponsored by shaving clubs that their sole purpose is to shave the nether regions.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not putting a razor nowhere near any of my nether regions. Whether they work or not, they're not going to be touched,
Yeah.
I'm not into that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And when did we become such sissy boys that we had to start shaving that part,
Yeah.
And this is the kind of crap that creates these individuals, these morphidites.
I mean, if they're not hurting anybody, but you know what?
I don't have a
tiring seeing this in public.
Well, it's the point.
It's like ramming it down your throat, and it's like, all right, you want to dress that way. I don't care what you do. Just don't don't force me to look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I Fruit Loops. Yeah, exactly, Chris.
There you go.
I am sponsored by the Second Amendment. That's me too.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, my co-host on right now is Mr. Smith and Mr. Wesson. Just happens to be right here. Yep. Because I just came from the store and I hadn't gone back there to drop my pistol off yet. So Mr. Smith and Mr. Wesson is right here protecting me. So, and I got Joe and Gus back here too. But that's just
good.
Yeah,
they're
kind of
your posse.
That's my posse. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, this crap of here's the thing. I don't have a problem with anybody's lifestyle But I think, and this is the situation. Having had gay members in the family, and still a few that, and some friends that are gay. None of them dress like that. None of them act like that. They just want to have a partner that they love, that treats them fairly like anybody else does, and not to be chastised about it. So, and that's fine. Okay. So if they want to dress up like that, they usually have one day a year that they can go out and get, we call it Halloween for the heterosexual bunch, but they have another day of the year, and that's usually around Father's Day. That's Gay Pride Day. Now they have a whole friggin' month, but they have, and I've been to one of those, and that's where they dress up and do their drag queen stuff, and but they don't walk around in public like that. They just want to live their life.
And speaking of walking around in public, did you hear Nantucket is going to allow topless anywhere? I'm like, oh, gotta be kidding.
There was a Supreme Court decision about 10 years ago that said it was discriminatory for beaches that are for cities that allow men to go shirtless to not allow women to go shirtless. It was a very quiet decision. It was, it came and went because it was like it hit the news here. It may have been about 4 years ago, 5 years ago now.
Right.
But it hit the news here, and women were going to start going topless in Tulsa,
Oh.
but the way it was worded,
Armageddon!
yeah, exactly. the way it was worded in the decision is that the city had to allow, they were in charge of setting up, but they had to meet certain, and that's why Nantucket is doing that, because they can do that related to the Supreme Court decision. And it was when we had more liberals on the Supreme Court than we did conservatives, so it was probably about 8 years ago.
Right.
So whatever. There's some of them
even though we lost the election Tuesday, it turned out it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. Things worked out the way it is. Unfortunately, here in Colorado, we've become California. Starting in January, they're going to charge you 10 cents for each plastic bag at the grocery store. And then I think the year after, we're not going to have plastic bags.
Okay. If you remember, back when we were kids, everything was in one of them big brown paper sacks. Now, those big brown paper sacks, we would take them home. Our mothers they'd use them for trash bag liners. They'd take them out when, you could burn them in the incinerator, or they could go to the dump, depending on how you, and
or
so
they were used to cover your school
books, exactly. That was where I was going with that. And that was recycling. But because of the tree shortage, it was deemed, environmentally unsafe. So the tree huggers came along and said, hey, we need plastic. Plastic is made of recyclable plastics. We need to do that. And now here we are. I'm an old man now, because I think that came about when I was, I don't know, probably a teenager or more. And here I am, an old man, and now they're taking our plastic away from us. It's like, all of this is cyclic. It just depends on how much they want to irritate the shit out of the old people. I think that's what all this recycling crap is. Confuse the old people.
Know. And it's just another way to tax the people.
Yeah.
Because that money, the stores aren't keeping that money. That
No,
money is
where's it?
going to the government. It's just
Yeah.
another tax without approval of the public. So they're getting
Yeah.
around Tabor again here.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
down the road they're going to get rid of Tabor here in Colorado, and then they're just going to start taxing the crap out of the people. We're going to end up like California or New York, where it's going to get so ridiculous with the taxes and the regulations, where people are just going to say, "Screw it." Hey, Colorado's a beautiful state, but can't handle this wackadoodle government here. And
Well, I knew Colorado back when I was in high school, or even before that. I knew Colorado was headed down that rabbit hole because they were making a big thing about the Kennedys coming there skiing every year, and then pretty soon you had all these people moving to the getting their winter ski lodges, buying property
Right.
there for skiing and all that. And I knew then that we were lucky we had Gerald Ford come in,
mhm.
and that was a big deal. Got to go out and see him out there, and he, I think he even crowned the homecoming queen of my high school that year, and crowned Miss Mesa College. That was when it was still a 2-year college,
Yep.
Yeah. And then he tripped up the stairs or something. I can't remember what happened.
No, he tripped down the stairs.
Tripped down the stairs.
That's-
Yeah,
Biden
he did-
tripped up the stairs.
tripped the stairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Biden is now in the Guinness Book of World Records, being able to trip up the stairs the most time in less than 3 seconds.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think they put him in the book this year. He might as well get in the book for something. Most senile president.
And Mesa State is now a university.
Yes, it actually when I went in the military, it became a university, but it had become a 4-year college, I should say.
Yeah,
It became a baccalaureate college, is what I should say.
Yep.
And it was still, Mesa College, but it was now a baccalaureate college, which ticked off a lot of people because they still hosted the JUCO tournaments, JUCO baseball tournaments. That's where all the junior colleges from around the country get into playoffs, and that's where they have their World Series, is there in Grand Junction.
Oh, okay.
And Mesa College is always invited. Now, my understanding is they're still allowed to play, but they're no longer a junior college. Of course, now, I think all colleges in Colorado are now part of the state college system, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, Metropolitan State College, my alma mater, is now a university.
Yeah.
And it was a 4-year college when I was going there. And I think it started off as a junior college with a 2-year degree. And that school started back in the, I think, mid to late 60s down there at Auraria neighborhood, right down there. There's still some old homes that are now offices for the staff there, and they're beautiful Victorian homes there, and it's right near. Well, Baker neighborhood is only a few blocks away over there by the hospital. What is it? Denver General. And so they slowly started building up, and when I was going there, they were building another big, huge building there, and by the time I got to my final year, I took some courses there, and remember the tramway station, the power plant down there on Arapahoe and 14th. That was a part of the campus. I took some classes there. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I did all my college either in the military or here, so.
Right.
Ended up going to NSU, Northeastern State University here, which is, well, they have a campus here in Muskogee now, but they didn't. I used to drive up to Tahlequah, which is, Indian territory up there. But yeah, but yeah, they but yeah, Mesa College, like I said, it was originally a 2-year college, and
Yep.
I actually
That-
had.
That's where Rick Enstrom went to school.
Yep,
He graduated.
I actually had a. God, that word has just escaped me. Where they pay for my college.
Oh, you mean the GI?
No. No, you earn it when for
yeah.
scholarship.
Scholarship, yeah.
I had a scholarship with Mesa College in vocal music, but I decided that I wanted to be married and join the military. Yeah, a little shit. Yeah. Knobhead dog. He's just probably heard my voice. He's been in there
getting back
sleeping.
to what's going on here in Colorado.
Yeah.
Here in Jefferson County, all the conservatives got thrown out of office. Every House member, every state senator. So Jefferson County is now like Denver County. It's solid blue, and so is Arapahoe County. Back 20 plus years ago, it used to be Jefferson and Arapahoe County. They were the ones that really, if whoever won those counties won the election. And now that they're blue counties, and it's like, well, the seat of power is right here in the Denver metro area and the Front Range. Yes, toffee, hashtag toffee. So
Chris says his dogs are getting upset. Yeah. Well, what it was is he just figured out I was home. I had come in and he was sleeping with Judy, and so I'd had to run to the grocery store. I came in and put everything away, went and checked. She likes these lemon meringue pies that I get over their Marie Callender's, and well, this coming up on the holidays, the only thing instead of the 3 or 4 that they usually keep in the freezer section at the stores, apparently Marie Callender is putting out a pecan pie for Christmas this year, and there was 300 of them damn pecan pies and not one lemon meringue. I finally went to another store and found one that was a more homemade style, so she'll get it after I get through here. I'll wake her up and say, here's your dinner. But yeah, she likes those
lemon meringue pie.
These are pretty good. If you ever get a chance, they're a little pricey. They're like $8, but
that's what I got in charge of is dessert this year.
Well, Marie Callender makes a really, really nice lemon meringue pie. So
I'm supposed to get frozen eclairs.
Well, that'll work too.
Yep. So go to I hate Walmart. The thing I hate about Walmart is if you go during the day, it's jam-packed.
Yeah, all them damned old people are out there trying to get away, trying to get in there before the kids get in there. So
right. So it's next weekend I'll get up early and I'll be like first in line, get in there, go to the frozen food section and get the frozen eclairs and thaw them out the night before Christmas.
I try not to go to Walmart unless I absolutely have to, because it just I usually walk out there pissed off. So I get mad at enough things as it is without going to
I know. You go there and it's like, where the hell are the scooters?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I could take my own, but that's such a it's like so I grab a cart. Yeah, they never have enough
high speed on there. All you need is a cow catcher to kind of move everybody out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So but
so now the Republican Party, we just gotta, rebuild and, like you said, get younger folks into office. Here in Colorado, the way I look at it is, what's the point? Except for three districts that are pretty solidly red. I'm afraid Bobert's going to lose next time because that idiot Adam Fritsch is going to run again, and because John Salazar was once a representative from that district when he. This was back when Obama got elected, and a whole bunch of people got thrown out of office. Marilyn Musgrave got thrown out of office in the fourth CD, where Wetsy Betsy Markey won, and she only served one term. And then who was it? Oh yeah, it was Cory Gardner won, and he was a rep or a congressman for one term, and then he decided to run for Senate, and Ken Buck ran, and he's now the congressman from that district. And we have Doug Lamborn, which is the 5th district, which is pretty conservative, which is El Paso County and and some of the counties up in the mountains there. So that's pretty solid.
Well, Colorado really was doomed since the 70s. I mean, I remember working. There's a couple of times I had to work out of Boulder, and I was working for the Asbestos Workers Union, and we were doing insulation, and I can't remember what we were doing.
You think they're doing that, Chris? They are doing that, Chris.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, my
finish your point with the asbestos.
Well, it wasn't. That's the union I worked for. I was doing union insulation work in different construction sites, and we went up there. AT&T had a support station up there. We had to do some re-insulation, and oh my God, the Hare Krishnas were all hanging out there. You had all these hippies running around in the colleges. We actually went up to University of Colorado. And that's where I saw their chow hall that was named after the cannibal that ate them 7 New Deal Democrats.
Oh yes, Alfred Packard.
Alfred Packard, yeah. Alfred E. Packard, yeah. And that's an interesting story people need to look up. He was finally pardoned after all that, but yeah, it was kind of and I knew then Colorado was getting so progressive, and this was my generation that was coming out. We were the hippies were, and I knew then that I was really kind of glad to get out of Colorado because when I went to Arizona, they were still pretty conservatives. You had like the Goldwaters. And Nevada was pretty conservative. Goldwaters, they had it made. Arizona had legalized prostitution, and California had legalized gambling on the borders. So the Goldwaters were making their money off of the legal prostitution, legalized prostitution. Most people don't realize they had it legalized, but was. And Nevada had both, so you had the people in California in the northern districts up there, or up there near Tahoe and all that. They were, they were raking in the money on gambling at the time, and then you had legalized prostitution all over Arizona, and but it was still a conservative state. It's still very conservative. It's protested a lot, But
well, back in the 70s, I moved to Michigan. Lived there, and it was pretty much a Democrat, run state, especially Detroit. I mean, you had decades of one corrupt mayor after another, and I think when I moved there, I think Romney just finished his last term, and that's when we started. I don't remember a whole lot about the politics I just remember a few names, like L. Brooks Patterson,
Right.
Carl Levin and his brother Sander Levin, and Dingle and Conyers. They were congressmen out of the Detroit area, and and I think it was the Conyers. They've been in power, I mean, for 50 years, because
Yeah.
John Conyers, he took over after his father passed away.
Yeah.
Now his wife is now a congresswoman from there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's
And you
his
used to have
second or
it.
third wife. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you used to have that all the time, where I mean, like Louisiana, look at their politics. They had,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Longs. You
the
got
Longs,
Huey
yeah,
and
Huey,
and
Louie, and Dewey. Oh no, that was the
yeah,
wrong. But
yeah.
yeah, Huey Long and his brother, and they, uh, so yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah. And don't forget the Tafts. Yeah, there
the
were a lot of
Tafts.
Tafts
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
Ohio that are
Ohio.
still in politics.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's we had that here, but fortunately they all started dying out. We still have, I think, all the judges. I can't remember. They were all Democrats, and I think they've all that here in Muskogee especially. They've all the old blood has finally died off or gotten too old to run now. So
Well,
and
if you
their
want
next
to study political history, go to this website called Political Graveyard, and it is full of information about the political. I mean, they break it down. You could go by state, you could go by party, you could go by how many politicians that were athletes, how many politicians were actors, how many
yeah
politicians were veterinarians, and so forth. They break it down into nice little things, and you could go as far back as the territorial government. Like here
yeah
in
well
Colorado, you got John Evans and other
yeah well we don't have
politicians.
to
I
go
mean,
back that we don't have to go back that far. I mean, we were still a territory until 1907. We finally became a state. So
mhm.
we were Indian territory up to that point. But some of the names here, Congressman Mike Sinar, who was a Democrat from Muskogee, and he ended up. And of course, we have the Siners. We have and the Edmondsons. Our district attorney for a long time was Drew Edmondson. His
Right.
brother was a judge. His there was a sort of like natural born killer couple that went and did a killing spree across the southern part of the United States here just, I don't know, about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was Judge Edmondson's daughter.
Oh
And
boy.
she got off kind of light, compared to, and they killed like 6 or 7 people.
Wow.
And but she got off kind of light.
Mm-hmm.
And but he got, when they captured them both, and he got like triple life sentences for
Yeah. Oh boy.
and he's got to go from I think he has to serve like in 3 different states. He got life sentences in all 3 states. So, and she got like 22 years, and they didn't bring up any charge against her in the other states. I think she's in Louisiana is where she's serving her time, and she got like 22 years. Everybody knows that the Edmondsons bought off,
Mm-hmm.
the district attorneys because political is politics,
Right. Also, on this website, you could find out what politicians died in office, what politicians died in accidents, what politicians committed suicide, what politicians were executed. And
I was going to say, do they have? They must. That's probably a pretty long list, especially under the Clintons.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I want to answer Chris's. No, we're not just beating a dead horse, because you got to remember this progressiveness and stuff. It goes back a long ways, but it's cyclic. I really think that the average American are going to eventually get, we're going to get fed up with it. We showed a little signs of getting fed up with it when we elected Donald Trump, and I think now that we know, you would think with the economy change in the last 2 years, everyone would vote Republican. Well, and that's true. And this is the reason Art and I do this show, is because we want people to go out and be able to tell their friends, listen, we got to think a different way. We've got to understand, as much as I am a Trump supporter, I won't vote for him in the primary if there's anybody better. And I'm hoping it, I would take, I'd take either Abbott or
DeSantis?
DeSantis. Yeah, I would vote for either one of those, There is hope, because it's this has been a long time coming, but we're seeing we're seeing cracks in their armor, and I think what really is going to open people's eyes is going to be what Elon Musk has done. There's an example right there. Elon Musk buying out Twitter, and opening it up like he has. And he backed out of the deal. He was at the position. They decided to sue him. I think now somebody's wishing like hell that they had decided to keep their mouth shut and let Elon, because Elon was going to go on his own way and start his own. But I'm glad that he went ahead and followed through and bought it, because I'm seeing signs, and they're not able to cover this stuff up. It's just not going. It's not going to go away.
And I think people are starting to get tired of this wokeness.
They are. You're seeing this. Disney has been hammered by their wokeness, and that's why they fired the CEO and brought back Iger, because he says, we're in this to make money. We're not in this to promote a political ideology. And those were his words. We're not here. We are here to make money for our shareholders.
Right.
And we're not doing that. We're losing. And you're seeing, and just like with a good example, it's called Bad Wolf, is the production company that makes Doctor Who. Well, Chris Chibnall was the director or the writer and director over Jodie Whittaker, who is the female doctor. Well, they finally got rid of Chris. Finally got enough heat that he left, and of course, Bad Wolf sold to an American company, and I'm thinking it's one that's not woke. It might have been. I think they sold to. They're under the Warner Brothers umbrella, which is part of HBO and part of the Discovery Plus. That's all one big umbrella now, and they bought this out. And of course, the BBC still produces. The BBC is still woke, but Bad Wolf Productions is not. And so they brought back the guy who brought in David Tennant and brought in such a good combination. And they just this month they just killed off Jodie Whittaker, and she's done her regeneration thing. And of course, they announced that the new Doctor, the next Doctor Who would be a black man, which, hey, all for it, as long as we aren't having to watch this very woke lesbian wacko out there that was coming to the United States and telling us everything we did wrong in the 50s. Sorry, 50s is over. Move on.
Yep.
Okay? Let's get past that. And so they are, and they brought back one of the earlier writers, and when they did the regeneration, unfortunately, they did, spoiler alert, unfortunately, they did not bring the black man on. They brought David Tennant back.
Oh, okay.
and
Cool.
he's on for a 3 special. He's sort of he's the middle ground doctor as to kind of bring back the old fans because they lost so much viewership that they lost money. And this
Right.
guy is there to bring back the less woke, those of us that are more conservatives that
Mhm.
like a certain, bring back entertainment and escapism. That's what Doctor Who is about because their
that's what it
their
was
scripts
all
are silly. That's what it was all
Mhm.
about, and that's what they done, and that's why they brought David Tennant back, and he's going to
Mhm.
be doing 3 2-hour
Welcome
specials.
to 3 Conservative Gimps, where conservatism and sci-fi are
Sci-fi,
from.
yeah. But anyways, that's a lot of these companies. That's the point is a lot of these companies are realizing that wokeism is killing them.
Yep. That's right.
Netflix, they just did the series on Megan and the redheaded stepchild.
Oh yeah, Harry.
Yeah, Harry. Yeah, Harry. That's right. Megan and Harry.
William.
No, William's the Prince of Wales.
Okay.
No.
Now
Harry is
William's the next in line after.
he's the next in line to be king.
Right.
As soon as his father, pops the cork,
Mm-hmm.
then William will be the next king, and
Well,
Kate will
we saw how long his grandmother, Charles's mom
But
lived.
I suspect Charles will probably abdicate.
Abdicate.
I'm thinking, because nothing's, he's not in the news right now. He was in the news for about a week, and that was it. He's gone.
Yep,
The only thing they could
Mhm.
talk about is he apparently doesn't know how to put toothpaste on a toothbrush.
Yep.
He's going to learn some new job skills for when he's retired.
Yep.
But Queen Victoria, the Queen seemed to live a long time. The kings, not so much.
Yeah.
Most of the kings in that family line, although his father lived to be a pretty ripe old age, and both mom and dad were, pretty.
Yeah,
long
that's
in the
right.
tooth.
Philip.
Philip
he was in his
98
90s when he passed.
He made it almost to 100 as well.
Yep. That's right. So maybe that longevity genetics got passed down, and
yeah. I just wish that he would abdicate because I cannot stand seeing that ugly old horse-faced queen consort that he's got. She's
boy.
She puts the butt in ugly.
Yep.
Sorry to any of my Commonwealth friends. I know she's your queen consort, but thank God we're independent. Although I wonder if it wouldn't be,
Well, speaking of independence, we have made it to an hour. Boy, that just flew by. Last
that
week
was a
we
fast
were like,
one.
Oh, okay.
Is it over yet? Like, oh my God, yeah. What? Yeah. You got to admit, we had a lot of good stuff to cover today. It was.
Yes, we did. So everybody in the chat, thanks for coming. Come back next week. Following week after that is Christmas, so obviously no show that night.
Yep.
But next week on Artco, I'm giving away some tech stuff. So be there for that show, and maybe you'll win some goodies. And I think we're going to have a surprise item that I'll throw in that they'll be the cherry on the top. So thanks for coming, and have a great weekend, and God bless you, and God bless the United States. See you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.